just have
Okay.
so maybe just John and I will talk.
Yes, right.
Great. All right, before you begin, Mary, you can start.
All right, always being the executive committee of the Cheshire County Delegation order at 5:30 on Monday, August 17th. Yeah. Items and stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna start off, just, if everybody could just talk in a manner that they can, anybody listening can hear us, for whatever reason, we may be having some level of communication problem. But I'm gonna have Cheryl start off.
Hey Cheryl, can you take the camera with a longer view so we can see who's in the room and the like?
No, I mean, I'll tell Dave when he comes back and he's not in the room.
The owl is supposed to focus when a person starts talking. The owl will then focus on the person. Theoretically.
John Paul, people here. That's here. Artist, Fox.
Yeah, you guys are totally. I couldn't even tell who was speaking there.
I couldn't make out a single word.
Maybe they had to go up to the microphone.
David, they're having a hard time hearing. So whether it means that somebody has to go to the mic and talk. When I talk, can you hear me?
Right now, it seems okay, but it's still a little echoey.
Right.
Okay, give me a second here. Let me check something out.
Hey, that's great.
Now,
Turn the mic.
David sounded better. Maybe turning the mic down a little bit.
Yeah. Can you hear me? No, not at all. Can you hear us now?
That was good. That was good.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yes, we can.
It's there. A lot better now. What did you say?
Good. Obviously, we
Let's
hear you best for
Let's
the
try
mic.
it. Mary, just speak up. Everybody speak up.
I opened the meeting. You were asking who's here. Is that? So,
Yeah.
So Representatives Rhodes, Harvey, Faulkner, Harazinski, Marshall, Uber, and Fox. Two of you at home, wherever you are.
Right. Now we can see the group photo, so that's great.
Okay.
Okay, and to start off with, to conduct the second quarter budget review, Cheryl will be presenting that. Thank you.
Okay. Where do I go? Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Okay, perfect. So last week I did mail to all of you a copy of the second quarter budget numbers as of June 30th, 2026. I didn't make extra copies of that because it's a lot of paper, but if anybody wants me to make a copy for them to take with them, or even this one, please feel free. My narrative of the second quarter budget review is basically explaining, we look at the nursing home and the general county together and EMS separately. So as of June 30th, the expenses are under budget by approximately $1,384,000. And the overall county expenses are at 49.27% spent out of 50%, and Maplewood is at 46.18% spent out of 50%. As of June 30th, the revenues for the nursing home and the county are under approximately $688,000, with revenues of the county at 49.28% achieved and the nursing home at 48.48% received. So combined with the shortfall of the expenses coming under versus the shortfall of the revenue, we actually have about a surplus going into the second quarter for the county and nursing home combined at $688,000, or I'm sorry, $696,000. The EMS, just so that you can look at that on its own, Their revenues are at 46.29% received as of June 30th, with their expenses at 48.84 spent. So as of the second quarter for EMS, we are running a slight deficit of about 150,000. There are some things that I have not yet accounted for, as we're still working on some contracts that are, we know our primary contracts, but there are some revenues that we're hoping that we'll end up seeing in the last quarter that can change that by year end. But as of June 30th, that's where everything's looking. As far,
And just jump in real quick. Remember too, that we are in the first half of the year. We're not having a true full year of what towns would be paying us this year, because we started the step up of cost in July, not in January. That was your decision. And so in 2028, we'll start to get the full year effect.
right, but the factor of us only having the half a
It's
year
figured
is already factored. So just highlighting some revenues in some areas of the report, just for, explanation purposes as you go through. Taxes, probably some of this you've heard me say over and over, but taxes are zero. They'll continue to be zero because we do not collect our taxes until December 17th of the year, even though we've been operating as of January 1, 2026. The grant reimbursement, they have only at the moment achieved 17%. Much of that has to do with timing and some prospective grants, whether we get them or we don't get them. But on the flip side, the expenses are also down at the same rate, because what we haven't received in revenues, we have also not spent in expenses. Registry of Deeds fees, we're always, at this time of year, they're typically always under, and it's a possibility it could remain under for year end, but a lot of times as the second half of the year, when the summer and the sales just ramping up more towards the end of the year, this might get better, but right now there's a potential that the revenues for Registry of Deeds could come under by about $100,000 for this year. The Connected Families Program, I think you've heard us speak of that as well. It's a program where we have wraparound coordination that works with children and families that are of high risk in out of district school placement, and that also is something that we receive. We receive billing through Medicaid, so we do some billing from Medicaid to support those services, as well as we have a state contract of a little over $1 million that helps support those services. So at the moment, the revenues are about $500,000 under budget, but again, on the flip side, the expenses are even more so under budget. And that is because we have additional staffing that we could hire, but right now the cases that are being referred to us don't justify hiring up to the level that we would like to in the event we can get to that point. So we've really kind of put them at a status quo of not hiring any more case managers until the referral cases come in to support that program.
So it's twofold for us. One is school's not in session currently. So we expect an uptick once school begins, because that's our referral agent. And then second is that the state of New Hampshire, we have a process and we do it quite quickly. And we always get, they come in once a year and they review it, and they always know that we have an individual that goes out to see if the family's eligible. We get in there right away. We get the paperwork up to Concord. It's the turnaround in their process that takes longer. It's just the reality that we're facing. And again, we're going to see an uptick once I believe and if that happens and they can show the numbers, then that's great. And remember, for every individual that they bring in on a caseload, that's $25,000. Each person carries about a caseload of about 8, because they're very serious situations. And we're keeping them in the community. These are kids that are targeted to go out of district placements. You know about out of district placements. Those can cost you anywhere as a low of $200,000 to a high of $500,000 for one child in placement in education. So I think it's an important program. It pays for itself. It's showing revenue right now that's in a very much the positive of over, I think, $600,000 if I remember.
Yeah.
So that's all good.
Yeah, this obviously is an issue very near to my heart right at the moment because of Senate Bill 498. So right now the whole thing is funded through Medicaid. Is that correct? Health, you're not getting any private insurance reimbursements.
Medicaid and a state contract that is probably
Right.
additional type of Medicaid funds.
Right. Medicaid.
Right. When you talk about how great it is, it's all because Medicaid is funding this program.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is the cause of the $6 million deficit that the state is operating under. But okay.
Could be that you cut funding too, but the revenue.
Revenue might have something to do.
All right, let's keep going.
So the next area to point out is our miscellaneous revenue line. You will be seeing a motion here tonight. I might as well go into detail what you're going to be voting on, but every year the county receives money from the state abandoned property division. And what that money is every, I mean, we even have to do it for our inmates, for our standing that people don't cash, but everyone's in the county is responsible for sending in money that they're holding on to that has been abandoned for over 5 years. And on average, we get maybe about $40,000 a year. So it's not big money, but we can just post it to this miscellaneous income. Well, we received our payment about a month ago and we received a payment of $508,773. And we've never received an amount such as that. And so I did a lot of discussion on calls back and forth to the state of New Hampshire abandoned property division, because I wanted to make sure that even though people have the ability to go get these monies that have been abandoned if they're in their name and years later, and the state reductions in offsets in future year, they have assured us that they would never send us a bill. So we would never receive a bill that actually said you owe this but that. If anything, if for some reason there was more money that they had to pay back versus what was coming to us, we would just receive a zero payment from there. But so this is money you will see we are presenting an amendment to the budget which you'll see pretty soon. So the next area is the DHHS additional credit that we received in July. I'm just reminding you that this was a 4-year payment that we'll only receive. We received it starting in 2025. It will go to 2028. And it's like a $334,000 revenue that right now is zero because as of June, we hadn't received it. But that was monies that back in the COVID days, we are responsible for paying the non-federal share of residents living in nursing homes and home and community-based services that are on Medicaid. And during COVID, the federal government actually gave more money towards their contribution that should have reduced the county's portion for a period of time to help out. And when the state received that money, they interpreted it as theirs. And after a lot of back and forth with the counties and the state, they finally realized that no, this is really should have gone to the counties as a credit against their bills. And they made an agreement that rather than paying it completely out, that they would pay it back over a course of 4 years. So I just wanted to highlight that so that you understood it. The next three, the transfer from fund balance, special revenues, and capital reserve, those are all just things that either happen at year end when it's actually needed. The expenses for the general county, going on to that, the overall, we're running really good in most all departments. There's a couple departments, commissioners, I have to pick on you. Your travel line has gone over, and that will likely put you over for the year, but it's not big money. It's not going to break the bank, but that department so it may not come in under budget. The medical examiner budget, this is for anyone that's does not know this, but the county is responsible for paying the medical examiner bills. The bills go to the county attorney's office, and this is a statutorily mandated bill that we get based on the medical examiner's travel and going to the scene of an untimely death. And right now it's a bit over budget, and you just never know from year to year what you're gonna end up getting for bills there. The human service budget is just slightly under budget as of June, but that will go back into line as of the end of the year, because we get a one-time credit in our July bill that brings it all back in line. I'm just highlighting this because it's one of our largest expenses, and if you look at it being like 48% or whatever, you might think, wow, that's gonna, could have it hefty going over budget, but that will come in on budget. This is the next section is just talking about where I had already spoke about hardware grants and whatnot. Those are all coming way under budget, but that's also because the revenues are coming under budget, and connected families as well. They are way under budget and will be, but that's offset for the revenues coming under budget. When we talk about the nursing home, their revenues, as I mentioned, were at 48%. Achieved. Currently, they have a census of 115. We do have some good news. Their staffing levels have been getting better. And just now, like within the last week, they have opened up another 10 beds so that they can accept, I think it's 124 to 125.
Yeah, they're aiming for 124, and if they can get the 25th, that's great. But that's from anywhere between a low of 109 this year to an average of about 115 to now 124 to 125. So it's taken a lot of work. We've, when we said, traveling nurses, when we did the visa nurses, which we have 2 on the floors right now, a 3rd in October, all this. And then all of a sudden, we've gone years, not months, years without an RN putting an application in, and we've received 2, 1 returning to us. So I think overall we're seeing an increase in staffing across the board. We've been as low as 424, we're at 499. So this is it's a great thing to see because it helps all departments.
So do we have a waiting list that'll fill this 120 to get us up to 124?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, we have a waiting list that last I knew was over 100.
Right.
And so any increase is going to help that.
And then their expenses are well under budget, offsetting any shortfall that they're having on the revenue side. But we'll see where that comes in at year end. And then I've already spoke about EMS. We currently staff 5. Even though we have more than
5 ambulances and 1 paramedic intercept.
So, and currently the deficit it's running as of June 1st is 150, but we'll continue to report out on that.
The chief can correct me if I'm wrong. When we started this, we were looking to see what we thought we'd be doing right around 2,400 runs a year. We're heading towards 6,300 runs a year. Am I wrong?
Oh, you're correct.
That's where we'll be.
And that's my report, unless anyone has any specific questions that they want to ask about.
Just with the over $500,000 we've received, the way that we will be looking at it is one-time funding, so one-time projects. I know that the commissioners, the executive committee, and the delegation may look at it differently, but we're going to try to identify those projects that are coming up this year that are one-time, because we know it's one-time and we may not get it next year. And if we do put it someplace where we have to then continually pay, we've only created a hole. Okay, moving on, if that's all right.
Is there any question?
We don't have to do that now. We're going to do that in the next year's budget.
That's correct. Yeah. Yes. Next would be to present budget amendment recommendations to the executive committee due to the receipt of pro-share funds and other necessary amendments. And I know Cheryl, you have them and can talk to them, but Barry, you have them too. If you want to read them off, then Cheryl can talk to them.
Right. Motion. Recommend the delegation to increase the revenue line number 3404.10.00. State of New Hampshire proportional share funds by $607,005 for the receipt of state of New Hampshire proportional share funds not previously budgeted and to authorize the use of pro share funds for the following. To reserve $607,005 by applying to fund balance for future year budget considerations to offset taxes to be raised.
Okay,
Is that
and
clear?
is there a second?
Motion made by Representative Harvey and seconded by.
Okay.
So I'm looking at the spreadsheet now. And that column A is empty. So I don't, this is the 607,005 is,
Yes, you were right. I kind of created this at the last minute. So when you look at that spreadsheet, they're not looking at it. Let me just, the 607,005.
yeah,
Okay, the 607,005, okay, is revenue for fund balance. So we would essentially put this into fund balance, which reduces what we originally budgeted of $4,475,000. So it's an increase to the pro share revenue, but a decrease to the use of fund balance.
right. So we're taking the pro share and allocating it to our fund, our reserves.
Yes, yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? We
Just
ready?
so everybody knows, I usually like to put that money to reduce taxes, but I understand the pressures of keeping our reserve high enough so that if again we ever did float another bond, we have good numbers.
It'll be applied next year, however, we budgeted for next year.
Right.
You say there's a question over here, son?
No, the clerk is over here. If you're gonna do the vote.
Drew's gonna call the roll. You have the sheet ready?
I don't have a sheet.
Oh. Actually, you can
So
take-
we're gonna go ahead and vote on these 3, 4, 5 line items. Is that what's happening here?
Yeah, one at a time, yes.
Separately.
So we're voting on the 600,000 to the fund share balance.
Okay.
Representative Faulkner,
Yes.
Representative Hunt,
Yes.
Representative Harvey. Yes. Clerk votes yes. Representative Rhodes,
Yes.
Representative Newell is not here. Representative Gruber,
Yes.
Representative Birch,
Yes.
Representative Partial,
Aye.
Representative Yarasinski,
Yes.
Representative Baxton is absent.
So that's 9 votes in favor. None against?
Nine.
Passes.
Moving on.
Next motion. Made by Representative Parsons, ruling motion to recommend to the delegation to increase the revenue line number 3509.00.00, which is county miscellaneous revenue, by $476,668 for the receipt of state of New Hampshire abandoned property not previously budgeted, and to authorize the use of these excess funds for the following. To reserve $476,668 by applying to fund balance for future year budget considerations to offset taxes to be raised.
Second.
Seconded by Harvey. Are we ready for a vote?
Representative Faulkner,
Yes.
Representative Hunt,
Yes.
Representative Harvey. Yes. Clerk votes yes. Representative Rhodes.
Yes.
Representative Newell is absent. Representative Gruber,
Yes.
Representative Birch,
Yes.
Representative Partial,
Yes.
Representative Karasinski,
Yes.
Representative Faxon is absent.
Being 9 votes in favor, none against, motion passes. Next motion, throw this around, Representative Gruber. Moves to recommend to the delegation to increase budget line number 4211.03.00, which is sheriff's deputy payroll, by $11,200 to increase a current 28-hour position to 40 hours effective September 1st, 2026, and to further increase taxes to be raised, budget line number 3111.00.00 by $11,200 to offset the increase in expenses. Section.
Representative Faulkner, that motion should be amended that it's going to be offset by fund balance, not taxes to be raised.
Offset by, okay,
Fund balance.
I'm gonna read the last phrase again, budget line number 3111.00.00 by $11,200 to offset fund balance. Any other discussion or questions about that? Yes.
What is it for?
We had, if you get a second, the sheriff is here to talk to it.
It's maybe moving a 28-hour position or a 40-hour position.
And then the sheriff's, if there's a second, the sheriff come up and speak to it.
Thank you.
Second.
So we've been in conversation with the Monadnock School District about potentially providing a deputy down there for say truancy SRO, and that's an average of 28 hours a week throughout the year. So it's going to be for the school year. So what we're asking that remaining 12 hours be given to us so that we can have a deputy full time to our roster. And the reason behind that, because we have seen a steady increase on transports and paper service. We on track of having about additional 700 transports this year. The way we're going, we've had days that we've had 25 plus transports to and from the courts. That means it takes away the deputies from doing our contracted services to the towns that we have contract with. And so what we are hoping is that with this person that we bring on board, that when he's not working the school, he'll be working as a deputy and help some of the issues of transport, vacation times off, because most of the deputies take time off to some working as well. So, and it's also been very difficult to find a part-time person to come work, because before they were everywhere. Now it's very difficult to find someone who wants to come part-time. And I've been working with the Monadnock School for about almost 2 years trying to get this done, but if I'm not able to bring somebody on full-time, I can't find somebody who wants to do it on a part-time basis and even on the department or be hired on a part-time basis. So this will alleviate some of that extra load that we've had on our transports. Even our paper service is going to be going up. We serve about 145 a month. We're going to be serving about 160. That's the average that we're doing right now. The transport, we do about 160, 62 a month. We're right now averaging at 220. So that's, we've seen that increase on the need of having an additional person, at least part-time, helping us when they're not working at school. So that's why I'm asking for the additional 12 hours so I can make that position a 40-hour week.
Yes, sir. Is there somebody now being hired at working at 28 hours, or so this is basically to fund a full-time position in order to fill a position that's now vacant?
Correct. So 28 hours of that 40 hour will be hopefully will be contracted, which will bring the revenue to us. The other 12 will be from my use as when they're not doing a contract. So
The Monadnock School District would pay us for the SRO hours, and then anything above and beyond that, the county would have to pick up. That's what I think the sheriff is saying.
So, and then we've been having that conversation. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the question I have is, 11,000 seems really nice, small, nice number. Well, obviously, now you taking a part-time person and put him as a full-time. So now there's that much more added benefits that we have to now cover. So I would assume this is going to be a full-time position come next year's budget. And so how much more are we actually going to be spending to bring this 28 hour to 48 hours in the next year's budget in terms of this added position?
Well, this position won't be filled unless I have an actual commitment signed with the school. Because I'm not gonna bring somebody on board without a commitment signed, because they are guaranteeing 28 hours, then that will open it up for me to do that. Yes, you're right on that part, but they will pay, they'll pay 28% of that, 28, which is what? It's a 70-30, I think. Combination, 70% the school and 30% us, cost for that person.
Right, all I'm just saying is that, when we get the budget next year, I assume you're hoping this position's gonna be there. And this is, a bump in our, how
If
many,
you, the problem, John, the problem with that theory, John, would be that, then you would have to pull out of the contract that's signed with the SAU, in whatever the date would be that you would decide that wasn't gonna be moving forward. So this is almost like making a decision, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, basically, if you vote to increase this position to 40 hours, this would be a mid-year increase of a 28-hour, whatever that is, FTE, up to a 40 or full-time. So you will see in the 2027 budget that we just write from the get-go budget for the 40 hours.
So you'll be adding 12
that's
hours.
that's what I'm fearing, because 11,000 seems great, but it's really gonna be more than that, because then
The
you
answer
get.
to your question, John, is yes.
So you'll be adding 12 hours to the FTEs that I have allocation right now. Because I already have a line for contracted services that is based on a contract, so. What we're adding 12 hours to my FTEs.
Representative Hurry.
So correct me if I'm wrong, you do not have a contract with Monadnock High School for an RSO right now. You're waiting to see if you can get somebody and then have that contract or that deal between the school and sheriff's department. Am I correct?
We have a draft contract that they have, and we've been going back and forth, but we haven't signed it because I haven't been able to find someone who wants to come work part-time.
Well, that just seems like such a catch-22 to me. Like, well, we don't sign with the school because I don't have a person, but I don't have a person because I don't sign with the school. Well,
No, that's not what I'm saying. I said that
School's willing, but in order to get somebody, you have to hire them full time.
It's just for clarity's sake, the school actually came to the sheriff and asked if we could fill this position. This position had been filled through a different manner, and that individual left that position. Since that has not been filled, they came to us asking for this. We said 180 days is the school year, and that would be 28% or 70%. Yeah, that's what I meant. And so he tried to fill that, but he couldn't find anybody. It's been 2 years he's been trying to figure this out. They have a contract ready to give us because they've had this position in the past. And we told them what the true cost would be, and it changes yearly. But at this point, he's feeling if he had a full-time person, he'd have a better chance at getting this position. That's all. Right or wrong?
Right, but when the point of what she's making is, shouldn't it say in this motion, pending that the contract gets signed?
100%.
Absolutely, 100%. 100%. I wouldn't be able to do it without having a signed contract.
So can we
John, we're not.
amend this
John.
so it has that in there?
John, we're not, that's not the sheriff's intention. He's talked to me at length about this. It's only if we get the contract to help offset the cost.
I hear you. So I saw you amend the other one. Can we fix this one and amend it so that it says pending the contract with the Monadnock School District?
approval with the school.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank
That
you.
would be fine.
So you need to reword the motion, or is that just the general?
Just
He's
add
adding
that-
a sentence. Is anything you saying?
Pending contractual agreement with the Monadnock, SAU 93.
There you go.
Last line reads,
Yeah,
$11,200 to offset fund balances pending approval by the Monadnock School District.
right.
Okay,
That's the motion.
I feel a little better.
Discussion. Ready for a vote?
And I'm sorry, one last question. So if we voted no, it doesn't mean this is gone. It just means it would have to go through the regular budgeting process, correct?
Well, if you vote no, then this
You cannot
I- I
be-
would
can't
be
do
able
it
to-
now. Right, you can't do it now, but you could do it through.
My expectation is I'll spend next year.
Correct.
That'll work.
Ready for a vote? Representative Faulkner,
Yes.
Representative Hunt,
Yes.
Representative Harvey,
Yes.
clerk votes yes. Representative Rhodes,
Yes.
Representative Newell is absent. Representative Gruber,
Yes.
Representative Birch,
Yes.
Representative Partial,
Yes.
Representative Karasinski,
Yes.
Representative Faxon is absent. Vote is 9-0. Passes.
9-0, but 9 in favor, 0 against, the motion passes.
Thank you for not back. What's up?
Right. And we will be discussing this again come January.
Right.
Not a problem.
No. All right, at this time, those are the motions that we have brought forward. If there's any other motion that you want, then you can do that at this time.
So,
I have one more here.
yeah, we
No, that's only, it's,
Is that it? Is that it?
Yes.
I would like to bring forth a motion to make the recommendation to increase the budget line 4454.00.00, which is the community kitchen, by $20,000, and to offset this with the use of fund balance number 3911.00.00.
Hey, John.
Yep, second.
I said.
This is what it says.
Discussion? We have a-
Yes, I'm making that motion because people are hungry. We need this money. This is not costing any additional funds from the county. And as you all saw, their food truck, gas has gone up. Personnel to run that food truck, the food itself has gone up considerably. And this money is needed by the community kitchen. It goes out to all of our towns and outlying towns and so forth. We've had a chance to see what they can produce. I don't think anybody here thought it was not good food tonight, and it's the right thing to do for people who are hungry.
So, and your money would come out of the fund balance.
That's right. It's not costing us anything.
Moving in a different direction. from the last ones. Questions or discussion?
Yeah, no, this is a precedent, incredible precedent. I'm shocked, Representative Murphy, that you want to do this, that, because this is obviously when we come to take the budget up next January, it's going to show that this plus 20 is there. I mean, this is not are you really, this is a one-time deal because of their gas truck bill?
I think in all of the county departments, gas is a real problem. We heard the sheriff talk about doing 700 transfers, and the cost of that is going up too because of the gas prices. I have no trouble looking at it in January, but I know they need this money now.
Yeah.
Just so, Representative Harvey came to me and asked about this. So I wanted to make sure I did my homework and went over there and asked them how their year has looked. And like everybody else that's dealing with the issues of funding and gas prices and food and all that, they've seen the same spikes across the board. So there's some of the backup facts. Mobile pantry expansion up last year. They were visiting 4 towns: Gilsum, Richmond, Fitzwilliam, and Winchester, once a month for 4 months. This year, we have worked with Gilsum, Richmond, and Fitzwilliam to strengthen our infrastructure in each community and establish a community kitchen and pantry in each town. These satellite pantries can now offer food distribution monthly, year-round. This expansion provides much greater stability and consistency in food access for all residents in those areas, trucking and regional food distribution. At the end of the year last year, we also started a truck initiative to move more food resources into the region. We learned that many of the small volunteer-run pantries were receiving food from the New Hampshire Food Bank only once a month because of the transportation limitations. We hired a full-time driver and purchased a 20-foot refrigerator box truck, which now makes almost daily trips to the food bank in Manchester. Year to date, we have delivered more than 90 tons of food to 12 agencies throughout the region, including agencies in Jaffrey, Rindge, Troy, Chesterfield, Marlborough, Keene, Gilsum, Richmond, and Fitzwilliam. The mobile pantry bus. We purchased a mobile pantry bus to allow us to get food into the areas that do not have existing food access infrastructure. It gives us the ability to be more nimble and responding to community needs and assess where future mobile pantry expansion might make sense. Taken together, these efforts are really about building a stronger regional food access system and supporting the small community pantries that are already here. And if we have any more greater detail, I can just walk out in the parking lot and ask them to come up and answer any questions you may have. But the bottom line is they have seen an increase across the board at a time when none of us were planning at the levels that we're seeing.
So how much is the county contribution now under the current budget?
No,
40.
40. They asked for 6. I think they actually asked for 60 last year. We gave them 40.
And this refrigerator truck allows them to make fewer trips, so that cuts down on gas, and also to get more food at one time, so that, because they're not.
The truck, what the truck does, it's actually costs them more money, but it doesn't cost the towns. And what was happening is they used to bring all the food here, then a Subaru would pull up from a town and they try to get in as much food as possible. Now they can take that truck, drive to the site, drop that food off, and it's a new system to the point where the New Hampshire Food Bank is looking at the community kitchen become a distribution center, and they have a facility over in this area, so they don't have to do it over all, have the truck going over on a daily basis. It's just the reality we're facing right now. So that was my homework that you would ask me to do.
Thank you.
So my concern is, and I think it's a worthy cause, but I think our responsibility, we have a budget process where we can compare what goes to this organization versus what goes to another organization, and we can make some decisions based upon the various needs. And introducing one thing in the middle of the year kind of short circuits that process. I think that if there's a good reason we should do it, but I think we should do it carefully so as not to make this a normal course of events.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is that you did actually do this last year, but you actually said, let's revisit this, because you gave them less than what they requested last year, and then you revisited it in the August meeting and you increased it by $20,000. That's all.
Which was less than what they were asking for, because they were asking us to increase it in August by 40, and we did 20 because it was half the year. This is 20. I guess what I might take us, this isn't new. The community kitchen has been part of the county budget, at least in the 10 or 12 years that I've been in the legislature. So it's not like it's a new department coming in and asking for money. If that were the case, I agree with you, Representative. I would say no, because there is a regular budgeting process. But the community kitchen is a regularly funded department of the of our county, and as such, they have the right to look at their funds and come back to us in August and give us a report as to where things are and what they need, as does any of the departments that we work with. So I feel that this, the community kitchen is, we've looked at their budgets year after year after year. I feel strongly that they are fiscally responsible and that they would not be asking for this money if it wasn't an absolute necessity for the constituents of our county.
Representative Rhodes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So 2 questions. One is, did they ask for this So why wouldn't it come to everybody up versus just one person? And my second question would be, what is their expenses up till now?
What's their census?
Their expenses up till now, like, do we have that to look at now? Are they over budget? Are they under budget? Are they where are they right now?
Okay,
They don't really report a budget to us anyway, they have their own board of directors, but.
right.
But if
I
we're
can,
gonna,
I can go down to the parking lot and have the executive director come up and answer those questions if you like. We can hold on this for a second if you'd like.
Would you like me to do that for you? Glad to. I'll
That would be great if you don't.
We can wait on that. That's right.
So let me understand this again. You're saying the same thing happened last year that the 40.
I recognize Representative Karasinski. I'll get
Oh,
you.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, John. So we don't have any numbers on their revenue or expenses. So we don't know how they're doing this year. I mean, they could have gotten some really good donations. And now we're just gonna give them 20,000 because we didn't give it to them earlier. So
One of the reasons I invited the executive director to be here tonight, not because of that, I asked her to be here to answer those questions.
Right, so we'll should get some answers to that. John, do you have another question? We're waiting for the.
Right, I'm just trying to understand the history, because I don't remember doing this with any grantee that all of a sudden we're gonna give them a what was it, 33% increase, right, in mid-year. I mean, normally
John, I did that, I made that motion last year.
And we approved it?
Yes, we did.
That's
And
becoming-
and I agreed?
Yep.
Are you sure?
Yep.
I just think this, I mean, I don't know, maybe I don't know what the storyline was back there, you know, a year ago, but I mean, to me, this is a precedent. So here proof in pudding is that if we do it, oh, well, we should do it again this year. So then it doesn't matter what we vote for in the, you know, in the budget, you know, we can expect them to keep coming back every June and every July, August, and increase and giving back the money we didn't give them before.
I think there were information about what, you know, they got a whole new slew of clients that they had to serve, or something else that they didn't anticipate or couldn't have anticipated back at the beginning of the year when we did the budget. That would be interesting information.
I think the obvious answer is what unexpected is that gas prices went through the roof. Now, with that being said, the question is, okay, how has that affected your overall operations, revenue and expense wise? So that's what I think needs to be asked when she comes up.
And additionally, did they ask for this, or is it something that you're asking for because you think it's a good idea? That's what I really want to know.
No, I'm agreeing with what they asked for, but I didn't come to Chris and say, gee, I'd love the county to give away $20,000.
So they asked for this increase.
And I think they've been making that pitch to a number of different organizations.
I think if you want to just take a seat where there's, I think right next to, right there, yeah. So the question, you want to ask a slide?
yeah, how are the numbers doing this year, revenue and expenses?
Revenue and expenses. We are doing our best on the expense side. We cut every corner, we repurpose everything we can get our hands on. But the increase in service numbers is definitely driving our expenses up. Revenue, we're holding strong. I'm doing my best. I'm writing a lot of grants. We're hanging in there on the revenue side. I wouldn't say that we're in trouble, but it's a constant, you know, we're scratching every bean we can get a hold of. But on the expense side, I wouldn't say that there's anything out of the ordinary, except that trying to keep up with demand. As we are doing more and more regional food access system building, so pushing out into delivering food into rural areas, we're needing to hire. And obviously our facilities and labor are our most expensive assets. So we're needing to hire, adding to our vehicle fleet. And those are things that are likely driving expenses.
And when your fiscal year, the calendar year or June?
Calendar year.
And just so, when I talked to you, you did say that one of the issues that you're seeing, which is probably driving your numbers, is that the increase in gas is an increased cost to you for transportation, vehicles bringing things back and forth, and also because food costs are going up just like everybody else is seeing. Would that be true?
That would be true. And so we've actually taken on a really big initiative since the end of last year that we sort of started calling our distribution initiative, which is we started realizing that if resources were going to become tight, I started telling our crew, I need you to stock up our warehouse, make sure we've got everything we can get. Don't leave anything on the shelves in Manchester, get it in our warehouse. Because if times get tight, I want to make sure that we are stocked up. And then we started asking that same question about the rest of the region. What about all of these little volunteer run pantries all over the region in Jaffrey, Ringe, Chesterfield, Troy, Marlborough? Are they also stocked up to their rafters? And the fact of the matter is they don't have the facility to stock up. They don't have the vehicles. And so when we started asking that question, we realized that no, they were getting food from Manchester once a month when Manchester was bringing it into town here. So we said, well, what if we go every other week and we deliver pallets of food to your doorstep? So now all of those pantries are now delivering for 12 agencies. A year ago, we were delivering for one agency ourselves. Now we're delivering for 12 different agencies. And so we've really raised the amount of food resource in the entire region. So that's really silent work that you don't see or hear about so much. But when we talk about when we started doing that work, we did not know or think ever that diesel fuel would cost $6 a gallon. So our truck that's now going out to Manchester, sometimes 5 times a week, like a year ago was going once a week. We've moved over 90 tons of food just since January 1st. Only half of that is for use in our facility here at 37 Mechanic Street. So again, that's Chesterfield, Troy, Ringe, Jaffrey, Marlborough, other pantries here in Keene, and now in our mobile sites, Richmond, Fitzwilliam, and Gilsum, as well as 100 Knights and St. Vincent de Paul here in Keene.
Has your demand for services been affected by changes in federal SNAP program and or general increase of grocery prices that people are facing, things like that we know at the national level?
We have to presume so because we watch the news and then we watch our data and we see the numbers increasing. You know, we don't really have a lot of time or facility to sit and ask people as they come to our door. So this is your first time coming to us. Why are you coming to us? You know, what's happening for you in your life that, you know, we're not collecting those stories. We're collecting some essential data from them when they walk through our door and then inviting them in to get some food. So, I would say that the correlation is there, that, you know, we are seeing the increase in home heating fuel, in transportation costs, in food costs, and then we see the need, not just here at 37 Mechanic Street, but across the region, we see those numbers going up. So we have to assume that the
And your
correlation
total
is there.
budget, just to understand what portion was your total budget is the order.
1.2 million.
I have a question from Representative Burchett here.
Thank you.
Urgent.
Thank you. And my question doesn't imply any lack of support for the hard work that your organization does. I want to quantify a bit if you can. We have a budget process. You come in at the beginning of the year, you present a budget, and a request, and we agree on how much the county should contribute towards it. As I understand it, you are now coming in August and saying we would like an additional $20,000. I'd like some clarification because I haven't heard any numbers at all. I'd like some clarification as to, does that $20,000 represent unexpected costs from the budget that you gave us in January? Or does it reflect an expansion of the program since the time that you came in? What's the 20,000 going towards? What percent of your budget, we ask this a lot, what percentage of your budget has been expended, of the budget that you presented to us has been expended? That kind of information.
So to answer your questions, I'd like to go with yes. Expansion of programming as well as increased costs, those two things go together. So as I was just laying out for you, when I came in and chatted with you around the time that we were, and I know that we're already into our next year's budget request, when I sat and chatted with you, we had some ideas and some future plans and some dreams. We put those into practice really quickly. It became really evident when SNAP got defunded at the end of last year that we couldn't just sit around and talk about our ideas and our dreams for the future. We were pushed to act quickly. And so this idea that we had about building food access systems regionally, it was a great dream. And instead of me saying, well, let me wait till next fiscal year to really get this on the budget in front of you all and bring it to your attention again, I'm not going to not bring food to these places. I have the truck, I have the means, the food is sitting in Manchester, I'm going to do it. So we started doing it. So again, that 90 tons of food that we have moved since January, we weren't moving that last year when I came and I sat with you. When I sat with you last year, our mobile pantry was 4 times a year. We are now, and we had this dream of expanding it. Well, we did that. We've expanded it so that now we have a year-round model. So we're going into those 3 rural towns 12 months out of the year instead of 4 months out of the year. So all of those things cost us money that we had not budgeted for. So yes, on both counts that we are expanding, so 3 counts actually, we're expanding services, we're building regional food access systems. Those things cost us money, and at the same time, demand and need is rising for all services, our flagship services, regional services. And it tells us we're on the right track, that we need to be expanding these regional food access systems to reach folks where they live. You know, people, we can't just say it's good enough to do what we're doing here at 37 Mechanic. We need to build this access system, this network, and make sure that it is resourced so that folks can get food closest to where they live. We believe that we're playing a major role in that hasn't existed in the past. So that's work that was not being done when I came and sat in front of you, and we're super grateful for the funds that we received, and that allowed us to be in a good position to take on more without the guarantee of that funding, you know, to say, we've got the ability to do it, we've got the resources to do it, we're gonna do it, and I will find the way to make it work.
Thank you.
Are we ready for the question? Motion is to increase the budget line item for community kitchen.
I'd like to make an amendment. I'd like to reduce it to just 10,000, and so that we can review the whole impact of this program come next January.
Any motions in order? We have a second. That motion. So the motion is to amend the first motion by substituting 10,000 instead of 20,000. It's an increase to the community kitchen budget item, still coming from the fund balance. People understand what the motion is? So we're only voting on the reduction of the amount, and then we would vote again on whatever the amount is that we decide.
I understand the motion. I don't understand the reason for it, because 10,000 or 20,000, it's not costing us anything. It's coming from the fund balance. If reducing it to 10,000 saved us money someplace, then I would say yes, but neither one is costing us. So I would hope not.
Okay, can I respond?
I got it, John.
Okay.
I'd just like to offer that the fund balance reduces the county tax. We can use it for that. So whether it's 10,000, 20,000, or 1.2 million, we take it from the fund balance and we put it to the budget. county taxes are. Still tax money.
Right. And it affects next year, not this year.
It is tax money, and we're sitting in this room responsible for not just the people that would like tax relief, but for every person in Cheshire County, including the 11% that right now are currently using are eligible to use your thing. And we owe the Delegation a big debt of gratitude because they're making it easier for us to serve our responsibilities. And we're talking about next year. We don't need to talk about next year. We don't know. We weren't planning on gas reaching $4 a gallon this year. All of this is blindsiding us. And we all have to adjust personally, and we have to adjust our county budget as well. I do not see a problem. I think 10,000, 20,000, we're still, why 10,000? Why not reduce it to $5 or $5? Or because say we're going to commit to this program. I feel we need to commit to the program. And I guess that's all I got to say.
And it's tax money going to taxpayers.
We made that point. So.
Yeah.
Good point.
Just a brief point. I think this is a critical program that food is not a luxury, and it's a critical program of services that for this county that we are very fortunate to have an organization who does so much to raise other funding so that it doesn't hit the taxpayers in other ways. These are the most vulnerable people in our county.
Calling a question on the reduction of the amount. Oh, John?
Yeah, as someone who made the motion, listen, all I'm trying to do is, I personally give money. My family foundation gives money. We all support the community kitchen. It's a very important organization. And this is not about them. It is about the fact that they created this new program. It turns out that this maybe wasn't the best time to do it, given gas prices or whatever, but that I absolutely support what they do. But at the end of the day, you have to remember back in March when we decided the amount of money we were going to give, we were trying to be consistent to all the other nonprofits and all the other guarantee organizations. I'm willing to treat this as my proposal. Compromise is simply say, okay, that now we realize that what is going on with the economy, on emergency, and 20,000 is when we take this up in next winter. Okay, next winter it's going to be. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do about that. Okay. Next winter, the proposal is going to come in at 60. And all I'm saying is that that's a half a year. Let's just do 10,000 now, and then we can have a full analysis and appreciation of what they do for the year. And so all I'm saying is, let's just do half of this 20, just do the 10 now, and then we can have this full discussion when we do all the nonprofits. And then, because we know they're going to come in and ask for 60 next year.
Can I just add one thing? When you asked me previously why I'm asking for more, in fact, when we submitted last year, we did ask for 60. You all granted us the 40, for which we're grateful. So when I came in and I said, we've got some big ideas, and I laid them out in front of you, and I asked for 60,000, and you granted us 40, and we said, thank you so much. I had an opportunity to go back and say, okay, well, I guess I need to hold on the big ideas. That's just not my style. I said, thank you very much, and I'm going to do it anyway. And we're going to find a way. So yes, I am back saying we're doing these things. They are bearing fruit. I respectfully disagree with you. I think this was exactly the right time to do this. This is exactly what we were afraid was going to happen, happened. The reason I said to my staff, I need you to stock up that warehouse, it happened. And so the reason I turned to our partners throughout the region and said, I need you to have more resource. We need to not leave anything on the shelf in Manchester. It happened. And so I'm glad we did it. And I will continue to do it. I hope that you'll partner with us in doing it, but we're not going to stop doing it. I may be shooting myself in the foot here to say whether you fund me or not, I'm going to keep moving forward. I also am going to keep coming back and asking because I think that this is work that we need to do together. And I'm going to keep inviting you into that work.
And I'm okay with that. And we'll probably approve 60 come next winter. But let's just get through this next 6 months.
All right. Question is going down to 10 from 20. We'll get to vote on the
Question
whole
is to amend it to $10,000.
Yes.
Representative Faulkner,
Yes.
Representative Hunt,
Yes.
Representative Harvey,
No,
Representative Fox votes no, Representative Rhodes,
Yes.
Representative Newell is absent, Representative Gruber. No. Representative Birch,
No.
Representative Partial,
Definitely no.
Representative Karasinski,
Yes.
Representative Faxon is absent. 1, 2, 4. 5 no's.
One of those for, this is,
So now you go to the initial 20,000, now you go to the original.
now we go to the original motion. I'll say that I voted yes, because I thought it would be important to have a more unified position when we go to the full delegation. That's that now, so. I'm ready to vote on the $20,000 increase budget for.
Recommend to the delegation supplies $20,000 of the opiate abatement funding.
Oh, no.
No, not the, no.
I'm sorry. Increase the budget line by number 4454, community kitchen by $20,000 to offset with the use of fund balance, account number 3911.000. Representative Faulkner,
Yes.
Representative Hunt,
No.
Representative Harvey,
yes,
clerk votes yes, Representative Rhodes,
No.
Representative Newell is absent, Representative Gruber,
Yes.
Representative Birch,
Yes.
Representative Partial,
Yes.
Representative Karasinski.
No.
Representative Paxton is absent.
6-3. Motion carries. So, I go to 63, motion passes.
So now, I'm gonna go with the overall, and she's gonna give it to you in 2 seconds. He's doing the math.
I heard it, she said.
I'm gonna do it. She figures I run.
I'm gonna give
Like
this
my
up
wife,
one
she
to-
orders pizza, I go get it.
Could I, would it be all right if I gave an explanation as to my vote?
Paul, you're gonna have to say that to tell me on Wednesday.
I'm not around on Wednesday.
Yeah,
Right?
I'll be too.
Oh,
So Paul, you had something you want to say?
Yeah, I did. I voted for it essentially for what Representative Gruber had to say. We're talking about food, and I think food is in a category with a few other things that need we need to pay a whole lot of attention to and be supportive of people who need it. I can't say I'm thrilled with the process. I can't say I'm thrilled with an idea that any organization would come to us during our budget season and say, these are our needs for the year, and we like you to support it, and we think about it, and we support it to the extent that it's proper. And then organizations go out and say, regardless of what we told you, regardless of what the budget is, we're going to go out and spend more money. And then it's like doing something and apologizing later, whatever the phrase is. I don't think that's a good way to proceed. I don't think it builds credibility for organizations. Nonetheless, because of the subject matter here, I felt it was important to vote for it.
Thank you. So we have the motion to recommend to the delegation to amend the 2026 budget for a total amount of $78,564,332.00, which includes all of the things what we've voted on. Is there anything else we should explain with this?
20,000 for the food pantry and the 11,200 for the increase of the sheriff's deputy from 28 by 12 hours to 40-hour work.
So
And then pro share 600 and change. And yeah.
moved by. Second.
Marshall moved it.
So are we ready to vote? Ready for the question?
Representative Faulkner.
Yes.
Representative Hunt.
Yes.
Representative Harvey.
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Rhodes.
Yes.
Representative Newell is absent. Representative Gruber.
Yes.
Representative Birch.
Yes.
Representative Marshall.
Yes.
Representative Karasinski.
Yes.
Representative Faxon is absent. Vote please 9-0.
9-0, the motion passes. We have any other business to go before us?
Yes. So we got a few things that we want to run through. They're not things that we need to vote on. We'd like to make you aware of them. And so we're going to try to get through them as fast as we can, as we have about 17 minutes to go. So the first one is, as you remember, we in 2016 we changed from group 2 for the corrections facility to group 1. The superintendent came to me this year earlier, talked about the possibility of us going back. I said, it's your homework to really look into it, work with your affiliates of other superintendents, work to see if you can make everything work. There's some things to it that need to be done. The commissioners were made aware on multiple occasions and felt comfortable to continue to move it through, because it's got to go through the budget process anyways, because there is a cost to it. We are not making any decisions tonight, but we wanted to make you aware of it. So up on the screen, I believe we're going to be able to do this. All right, well, he'll be here in a second. But we can talk about it in the meantime.
You want to start with the difference between group 1 and group 2?
Yes,
or the back?
yes.
So prior to me working there, I worked at the jail now for about 8 years. I worked as a floor officer for 5 and I was a second shift commander for 2 years. Last September, I took over as superintendent. In 2015, 2016, we transitioned, like he said, from group 2 to group 1. The decision wasn't made on the basis of retirement. It had to do with the corrections academy that we send our officers to. Back pre-day, there is a 5-week correctional academy that is made up of all the correctional facilities in the state. So it was made up of all 10 counties. 2015, there was some differences of opinions, but also some differences in training opinions between Cheshire and some of the other departments. So I can't speak to all the details of this around that group 2 back then. I was working there, I was superintendent, responsible for decision making. But the reason that we transitioned out largely came down to the training aspect of it. We felt we could do the in-house training better than and as well as the other departments do with a 5-week training academy. It helped save us a lot of time and money in terms of overtime, especially in terms of the cost of sending officers. If we send 3 officers to an academy, it pulls us down in staff. So it has a lot of costs associated with it. When they did that 11 years ago, I do believe that our training was right on par with it. And I'm not trying to say that our current training is subpar to where the other departments are, but in 11 years, corrections, believe it or not, changes a lot. And we have to adapt with the times. And I think we do an incredible job with that. Former Superintendent Yazway was very good about keeping up to date with times. But when we cut ourselves off from the rest of the counties, we lose a lot of valuable resources. We kind of isolated ourselves on a bit of an island, whereas putting us back into the academy would kind of open up a lot of channels. It would give officers better, more in-depth training. looking at what they recently did with the academy, they did revamp it in a lot of different ways, and there's a lot of trainings that we don't have, but I would like us to get. The other superintendents are very supportive of my initiative in this and trying to help us get through this, and they want to offer us the training that we can get. As far as the difference between group 1 and group 2 retirement. So Cheryl can talk more on the costs of associated that the county would pay into group 2 versus group 1. Group 2 it's group 1 pays into Social Security, and then it also pays into the retirement system. When you can initially retire is 30 years. Group 2 is 25 years. When you can start collecting is, I want to say it's 60 for group 1. For group 2 is 52.5. So group 2 is generally police, fire, EMS, corrections, state prison. That's generally group 2 retirement system. Group 1 is generally teachers. And so we transitioned from the group 2 with which is made up of most law enforcement, to group 1, which is made up of the teachers. So it's still not a bad retirement per se, but it's not what someone goes into the field of corrections desiring. The big draw to corrections or law enforcement in general is the retirement. It's okay, I can do a very hard, strenuous job for 25 years and then get a good retirement. Right now it's okay, I can do this for 30 years and I still have to work till I'm 60 or so. So we kind of took away that retention that we want from an officer, or what officers might look at. In Sullivan County, I spoke with their superintendent. They're the closest jail to us. They hire a lot of individuals from Keene that would rather drive to Sullivan County because that is their retirement. They pay a little bit less than us, but there's more to look forward to. And if a lot of people use corrections as a stepping stone to police departments, and Sullivan's another example of, they have an officer that went from Sullivan County, now he's working for Keene PD, so he can take his retirement and transfer it to Keene PD and keep it running. Whereas if you go from group 1 to group 2, it's not quite as smooth a transition. It's still a good transition, but not quite the same.
So there's gonna be a lot of questions on this, but we just wanted to introduce it to you, that this is something that the superintendent's been working on. It has to go through this budget process, so you will have time, but we didn't want to spring it on you at the budget process. We wanted you to think about it. If you have questions, you can always reach out to them prior to the budget process to get more in depth so that you understand it better. So we just wanted to bring it forward for an introduction.
Yeah, and real quick, one more thing is, it's required to be certified to send your officers through the academy, the 5-week academy. With the help of the other superintendents, they agreed to waive officers that have been employed with our jail for 3 years through that academy need. I went to them with the logic of, if someone's been employed for 3 years, they've experienced enough where there's no really amount of 5-week training that's gonna necessarily equate to that level of experience, which they agreed to. So if we were to go through this transition, I have about 43 officers right now that are group 1 that would need to transition to group 2. I wouldn't have to send all 43 through the academy, which is a requirement to be group 2. They agreed to waive that. It would drop the amount that I would have to send through the academy significantly. I believe I would have to send, at this point in time, roughly 12 or 13 officers through the academy as opposed to the whole 43. So if I wasn't able to get that waiver, I wouldn't have come here, or I wouldn't.
That was one of the breaking.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to move forward with it because I can't find a way to send all 43 staff, myself included, through a 5-week correctional academy. It just would put our facility too far under. It would put a really heavy burden on officers and the overtime flow of everything. So this is just kind of give you a little background of some of the work that I've done, some of the progress that we've made with it. There's a lot of support throughout the rest of the counties. They'd like to see Cheshire kind of rejoin the NHAC Corrections Academy. I think it just makes sense for the sake of continuity between the state and corrections to have all the same training. Gives us more of a leg to stand on when it comes to any sort of lawsuit. Again, as far as jails go, I'm incredibly proud of how we're run. Whenever it comes to lawsuits, I know for a fact that we're doing things correctly. So it's not that I think we're doing something wrong. It's just, I think we can be doing more in the grand scheme of things. And 10 years from now, if we're still on our own island where all the other jails are doing something else and they're further progressed than we are, then we're just going to stay stagnant. So I'm just trying to keep us up to date with the times. So that's kind of where we're going with this.
Okay, and again, there'll be plenty of time for questions, but I'm going to move on if that's okay, because I've seen the clock and I know I'm under the gun here a little bit. It'll be all electronic on our website, and we can send it to you directly too. I'm gonna jump, if you don't mind, because some of this is gonna be repetitive, because I'm gonna be saying it later on at the full. And some of it's about what we're doing around, gas prices, some of it's about, how we are going after about $4 million worth of, funding from the state through the Go North program, and how that's gonna affect us. And so I think it makes more sense, because, getting close to time to go right to the clarity question I need. And so in January, or actually in February at the wrap-up meeting, you and it was John, because we have the minutes, if you want to reflect on the minutes, you can see that John made a motion in reference to restorative justice at that meeting, and it being discontinued as of December 31st, 2026. And so with the idea in the minutes, it clearly says that we would review this in August. And one of the things that was asked of me is that I would meet with Patrick, who's here tonight, over this in the corner, well, in the middle, sort of, and talk about grants, possibilities, meet with Suzanne Bansley about grant possibilities, help to see if there's any way we could offset costs. At that point, we did all of that. What we found is there is no grants to fund the program itself. There's grants to grow the program out, but there's nothing that funds it at the administration of the programs. We also looked at schools, and to be honest with you, we can say that we're going to do it. Whether the schools then are going to, go into contract with us, we don't know that. I can't sit there and look at you in the face and say that. So Patrick knew that moving forward, he continued the program. In mid-May, he came to me and stated that he was retiring and moving back to Nova Scotia, and with his wife, who's been a doctor in this region for many, many years. And that his last full 20-hour work week would be June 26th. He would continue to work on with us because he had 4 cases that he's probably finishing up in the next week or so that he wanted to follow through with as he went back and forth between here and Nova Scotia. He's done that, and we've continued to pay him that. So I made a decision at that point, because of what I heard from the executive committee, to go to the commissioners and say, at this point, it makes no sense for me to hire somebody, because it's going to be who would I be hiring that would actually think about taking the job with a 3-month grace period before it ended. That was how I started to work forward with that. The commissioners agreed with me on that, and that's how I went and intended it. So the program was going to officially end like it had been planned. I did start hearing that there may be people that would want to reconsider it. So I looked into the matter, and you can't really reconsider. You have to either amend the motion or rescind it. Then I realized this vote was never moved on for whatever reason. It was never moved on to the full delegation for a vote. It did come out on a document that we sent out that is said down there but it never was officially brought forward. So what I'm asking for tonight, because I've been going on to the idea, I read the room, I understood what John's motion was, I understand what my duties were. I went to the commissioners and told them what I thought. So I would like to have clarity on how to move forward with this, and somehow have a motion, whether it's John, he does a motion so that we can bring it to the full delegation to be able to then move forward, so that I'm right in my thinking or not, and how I proceed. Because right now, I'm not 100% clear on that, even though I've been working off an assumption that the program ends December 31st, 2026. So.
I'd like to speak to this.
Okay. I mean, your show there.
So I think one question is whether we're gonna make a recommendation as an executive committee. I think definitely needs to be a vote of the delegation, one or the other,
That would be correct.
just to cement whatever the intention is. John, you wanted to speak?
Yeah,
Paul.
I think Paul and I have already, we've had a conversation on this, so I'll let Paul speak first.
thank you. I can't see anybody but John, which is generally okay by me. I just want to clarify a couple of things. And it's not that there's an open question about what the status is now. There is no open question. The delegation approved the restorative budget as every other similar kind of program by its vote at the delegation meeting. That's the status quo. The status of the delegation of the restorative justice program right now is no different than any other program. That is not subject to debate or clarification or anything. However, because some people may have labored under a misinterpretation or their own opinion about what was happening, I am supportive of this body taking a vote on whether it wants to kill a program as of December 31st or not. And I think that's an appropriate motion. If somebody wants to make it, nobody makes it, so be it. But somehow I think that John is probably going to make that motion. It's entirely appropriate that we do that, and then we could just simply vote thumbs up or thumbs down as to the issue of killing it December 31st. I think John and I both understand we're not here to discuss how the program could be improved. We're not here to discuss the parameters. All of that can be done in January, February as part of the normal budget process. We're just trying to decide tonight whether the program ceases to exist December 31st or not. Is that how you see it, John?
Good.
Yeah, so I guess I'll speak now. It's simply, the way I made the motion was that it come this meeting, that we would charge the Chris to figure out, how this is gonna work and how this is gonna make economic sense. And the fact that the person who is administrating is willing to move on, and they're wrapping it up and taking care of the two cases they had. I think this was a good way to do it.
Can I suggest we make that motion to the entire delegation, given
Yes, so I moved the motion. Yes, I moved the motion. I assume you guys have printed copies of the motion. Is that?
Well, so the question, are we gonna try to make a recommendation? I think if we want to, the executive committee to make a recommendation to the full delegation. It's gonna involve discussion of the merits. Might as well let full delegation here because they're here. We're almost at the time of the meeting.
On John's behalf, John, do you want me on your behalf, and then you can, okay.
It's fine, thank you.
Motion to recommend to the delegation to reinstate budget funding in the 2027 budget for the restorative justice as such. This will allow the program to continue past December 31st, 2026 and be revisited. No, not it.
No, that's
not it.
Right here.
All right,
100%.
Pulling my leg, man.
The motion would be a motion to eliminate to recommend to the delegation to eliminate the restorative justice program effective January 1st, 2027.
That's the correct motion. If anybody,
we had multiple going.
So.
Yeah. All right.
So
No, we're good. No, I'm sorry now.
Question of the exec committee is that, do we want to have a discussion of the merits here?
No.
Or do we just want to pass this on to the delegation?
I think it's out of order to discuss the merits. I think, as Paul said, that is something that would be taken up in our regular deliberations in January as we as we do with each of our programs. We look at it there. I don't think that is, I don't think that is in the purview of our job. I think what we need to do is take up the motion as read and make a vote as to whether the program is going to move on or not, and let the people who do the budgeting in January and March look at the program the way it stands and if they want to make changes.
So the motion to the executive committee, which we're still in the executive committee meeting, is to recommend to the full delegation
Effective January
to
1st.
eliminate the program as of January 1st.
Correct.
Ready?
And just-
Are you ready to vote on
can I-
the six?
Can I speak?
No,
So
right.
the senator understands that when we took this discussion up, we knew that we were already 3 months into the budget. So the issue was you couldn't just, oh, I'm sorry, my dog is express her opinion. Okay. So that we assumed that we could not at that moment, just do it, say, just dissolve this program. Notwithstanding, there were a couple of cases still pending. And so we thought, what is the best way to do this was to have this meeting to discuss what the department, Chris could find some grants or find something to make this program work. And that if not, if the reality is that there's not much we can do to make this, the terms of as the viability of it. And that if at that point, we would then make a decision on whether we should recommend it. So the key element here is the timing problem. The timing problem is we as a delegation don't vote until March. So if you're going to initiate, we said, no, we're not going to discontinue the program for the 2026 budget, but when the 2027, that's when we would pull the plug. And so that was the idea.
The executive committee heard this argument and discussed it back in February as just the full delegation hasn't seen it yet. So I think at least.
Well, hold it. Let me respond to that if I can, because I think it's fairly fundamental to say that whatever the executive committee did, whatever motion is referred to from before, was never approved. It was never adopted. It's no different than in the legislature. If a committee makes a recommendation on the bill and it doesn't pass the House or the Senate, it doesn't exist. So where we are right now is in a program that all along needed to have somebody appointed interim or permanent or whatever a month ago, 2 months ago, whatever. But it didn't happen. So be it. But right now, what we're deciding is the next 6 months, next half year, essentially, of a program, because John is right. The program, as it goes now, we owe it for all the other programs, and so far this one, they all end December 31st, and then there's a grace period of 3 months that the state provides. So we're talking August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, which is plenty of time to help people through the restorative program, and it's plenty of time to give victims their rights. So I urge people in the strongest term possible is to vote against the motion. And if people want to reconsider the program and how it should function and what it should cover and not cover, that's what we do in January.
Well, I think we made that point. So call the question. This is just the executive committee voting on whether to recommend to the full delegation that the restorative justice program be terminated as of January 1st. Madam Clerk.
So it was moved by Hunt. Did anybody second it?
Second.
This is a negative question. So a yes vote is to kill the program.
Yes vote is to kill the program.
Yeah.
Representative Faulkner,
No.
Representative Hunt,
Yes.
Representative Harvey,
No,
clerk votes no, Representative Rhodes.
Yes.
Representative Newell, oh, no, got the wrong, oh, no, Representative Newell is down here.
No.
Representative Gruber,
No.
Representative Birch,
No.
Representative Partial,
No,
Representative Karasinski,
Yes.
and Representative Faxon.
a true.
We've got 3-7.
Yeah. 7.
Oh, Sam walked in, I don't know.
It's the executive council.
Second.
We'll be on the
Sorry.
next vote.
Okay, never mind, sorry.
It's
No, no.
3 votes in favor, 7 against, motion fails.
7-3,
3-7.
motion.
3 in favor, 7 against. Motion fails. Other business come before the executive.
No, a lot of the other things that I was gonna talk about, I can talk at the full delegation.
You have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
Second.
I have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, alright, you're ready. She has to, you have to give her some moment, please. Oh,
Oh,
we need about 5, maybe a few minutes. Cheryl will be able to change some of the things around for the delegation.
Yeah.
I'm not. Oh, it's good day for the time.
Line for changes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Bottom line.
Changes.
Yeah, they'll go to chairs.
Is that all one amendment?
For where?
Yes, but.
I just want to thank you for everybody to know. That 500,000, it's like 5 years ago. It helps every little bit. It's like,
The motions. I probably could have. But I was very happy to say.
I'm even on your email list now.
Hey, Kathy? 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 Asking you as chair. Kathy?
I'm right here.
Could I speak to Kathy for a moment?
Yeah, that's good.
All around your phone.
Oh, okay.
Here. Call Kathy Harvey.
Davis, yeah.
Mobile.
Till we start going. Okay. Yeah, since I don't know what the.
I have.
Please leave your message for 60320.
Oh, mute yourself.
Good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming this evening. Thank you for your patience. Since our executive meeting ran a few minutes early, thank you very much for being patient while we got things transitioned from one meeting to the next. My name is Representative Catherine Harvey. I'm the chair of the a Cheshire County delegation, and we're here tonight on August 17th to review the county budget. So the first item on the budget is exactly that, to look at the appropriations to the 2026 county budget for the use of pro-share funds and other budget amendments. And I would ask Cheryl to please speak to that.
Good evening, everyone. So what we typically do in this August meeting is we bring forward some expected revenues that we have and present them to amend the budget. And the first one that we are proposing is our pro share funds. So this year and prior years, we had, a much more sizable amount, but this year we did get $607,005 more than what we had originally budgeted. So we are presenting in support of the commissioners and the executive committee of the delegation to take those excess funds and apply them to fund balance to consider for future years taxes to be raised.
So I'd like to make a motion to increase the revenue line 3404.10.00 by 607,000. You have too many zeros here, Cheryl.
Is it 607,005?
Yes.
Yeah,
For the
it's $607,500. It's $607,005.
$5 for the receipt of state New Hampshire proportional share funds not previously budgeted, and to authorize the use of pro-share funds for the following: to reserve $607,005 by applying to fund balance for future year budget considerations to offset taxes to be raised. Can I have a second to that motion, please?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Yes.
Can I get a copy of the motion?
Sure. Any discussion? The clerk will call the roll.
Representative Hunt,
Yes.
Representative Weber is absent. Representative Faulkner,
Yes.
Representative Harvey,
Yes.
Representative Ames,
Yes.
clerk votes yes. Representative Marshall,
Yes.
Representative Quayle,
Yes.
Representative Rhodes,
Yes.
Representative Germana,
Yes.
Representative Jones.
Yes.
Representative Newell,
Yes.
Representative Faxon. Absent. Representative Birch,
Yes.
Representative O'Rourke. Yes. Representative Nevelenko, yes. Representative Karasinski,
Yes.
Representative Murphy,
Yes.
Representative Jacobs,
Yes.
Representative Gruber,
Yes.
Representative Mattson.
Yes.
19-0. Motion carries.
Thank you. The next motion that we have that was recommended by the Executive Council concerns abandoned property. And again, before I make that motion, I'll let Cheryl explain what that abandoned property means.
So every year, the county, all 10 counties in the state of New Hampshire receive money that has been escheated to the state of New Hampshire, and that has been deemed abandoned. I mean, no different than us as the county. If we have any outstanding accounts payable, vendor payments, or payroll payments, or even inmate pay monies, we have to every 5 years send anything that has been abandoned over 5 years old. What happens is anything that originated from Cheshire County, the state, after so many years, then sends it back to the county in which it originated. Most years we get about $35,000 to $40,000. It's, kind of a minor payment. I mean, not chump change, but it's small in the scheme of things. This year we received a payment in the amount of well, I had it written somewhere, but, oh, it's in my minutes here. $8,773. And so that amount, we budgeted some of it, but the excess of what we didn't budget was that $476,668. This we never, in the history of me being with the county, have ever received anything of this magnitude. I did speak to the Treasury Department at the state of New Hampshire to assure that in the event somebody came forward to claim this abandoned property, that we wouldn't receive a bill. And it's not one, I think this is multiple payments. They can't tell us who or how it originated, but they did assure us that we would never receive a bill. If anything, if they had to offset a future year, they would just keep offsetting 0 payments until it was caught up. So this is definitely unexpected revenue that we are also recommending is applied to fund balance for future year budget considerations to offset taxes to be raised.
And I'll get your question in a minute, but I'm gonna do the motion in a second and then we can discuss it. Motion to increase revenue line 3509.00.00 by $476,668 for the receipt of state of New Hampshire abandoned property not previously budgeted, and to authorize the use of these excess funds for the following: to reserve $476,668 by applying fund balance for future year budget considerations to offset taxes to be raised. Can I have a second to that motion, please?
Second.
Thank you. And now, discussion, Representative? Yes.
Could you give us roughly the nature of, some of the bigger chunks of what the abandoned property consists of?
We don't know where this
It's just-
money is. It's
They
just,
don't,
Is it the dollar amount?
it's just the cumulative dollar amount of what the state had to send back to Cheshire County for their obligation to send it back. The state gets a percentage of this too. I'm not sure exactly what the percentage is, but this is like it's one person. Any one of you can go on to the abandoned property division and search for your name. And it will tell you if you've got any unclaimed property out there that belongs to you. So
but just for clarity purposes, Cheryl did her due diligence with the Treasury in New Hampshire, and they were like, it's not one, it's multiples. And it just happened to hit us this way this year. It's never been. That's why we only took out initially 38,000 and set it aside. And we put the money aside because we're like, we're not touching this unless somebody tells us we can touch it. She did her due diligence. They came back and said, don't worry about it. And so we have it in an email. And so we're saying this is something that as the budget goes, we're going to look at this. We are going to look at this as a one-time project type opportunity. Of course, the commissioners, the executive committee, and the delegation can choose to do whatever they choose with it. But we feel like this is an opportunity. If there's some things that we can do, we'll do it.
This is a one-time revenue source.
Right.
well, we get it annually, but we've never
Right,
gotten something
this large of it.
Yes.
Yes, Representative.
I was gonna offer my observation and through this with several things, that these are not big chunks of money. These are thousands and thousands of uncashed checks, for $20 or, $47. There are hundreds of thousands of people that have little bits of money that end up going to the state because they've moved and
I
forgotten.
mean, we've all gotten excited by it and then get on there and said, yeah, you have in that old account, $22 or $2 or 5 cents or whatever it is, but not $1 million.
Just a follow-up question. So
Yes.
the information that you get from the state is just a number, or what form?
That's
does
all
that
we
come?
get is
That's
a
all.
number. We get
Just
a
says-
number that references the RSA. And with the RSA is 471-C:31. Final disposition. I mean, I can read the RSA, but all as used in this section, appropriate county treasurer means the treasurer of the county where the folder was located at the time the property under this chapter was delivered to the administrator under another RSA. Following completion of the proceedings specified in RSA 471-C:30, the administrator shall pay or deliver all property escheated under this chapter to the appropriate county treasurer, who shall deposit such property in the county treasury. provided, however, the administrator shall not pay or deliver the income earned from the working capital fund or any amounts received from out-of-state holders. That's what the state can't do. And then it goes on to say the administrator, meaning the treasurer, shall reduce amounts paid to the counties under this section for subsequent claims asserted under this RSA, if such amounts have previously been instituted to the counties. That was the last sentence that concerned me, was that they will reduce future amounts if they've already sent us money, which we don't know who the individuals are. We don't get any backup. It's, they do what they're supposed to. And then it's where they said that they would only reduce down to 0 and they would keep a running tally in the event. But he kept assuring me, I doubt you're gonna see that we're ever gonna have to, there won't be enough to make an offset.
Follow up?
Yeah, follow up, please. So I'm just imagining that this is mostly financial instruments. Like, for example, somebody doesn't cash income tax, dividends and income tax return check. But doesn't involve any real property or the sale of any real property. Or
If it turned into cash.
Can be anything, we just don't know.
just,
The link
Again,
banks.
we asked those questions because we had the same questions you had.
yeah, Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is we don't know what we don't know. We don't know how many, what they are, or the amounts of it. But we do have an email that says in the future, if by some rare chance we had to pay something back, they would simply make their payments 0 until the balance was paid off. That's as much as we know. So the motion is to allow us to accept that money. Any further discussion? Clerk, would you please call the roll for me?
Representative Hunt,
Yes.
Representative Weber is absent, Representative Faulkner,
Yes.
Representative Harvey,
Yes.
Representative Ames,
Yes.
clerk votes yes, Representative Partial,
Yes.
Representative Quayle,
Yes.
Representative Rhodes,
Yes.
Representative Germana,
Yes.
Representative Jones,
Yes.
Representative Newell,
Yes.
Representative Faxon is absent, Representative Birch,
Yes.
Representative O'Rourke,
Yes.
Representative Nabalenko.
Nalavenko votes yes.
Nalavenko. Thank you. Representative Karasinski,
Yes.
Representative Murphy,
Yes.
Representative Jacobs,
Yes.
Representative Gruber,
Yes.
Representative Mattson.
Yes.
19-0, motion carries.
Thank you. The third motion that we have before us, and it was brought forth as a recommendation from the Executive Council, concerns increasing a current 28-hour position for a deputy for the sheriff to 40 hours. And I'm going to ask the sheriff to briefly discuss his request. Then I will make a motion, we'll second it, and if there's any discussion from the delegation, we can do it then. So, Sheriff, if you could briefly explain your request.
Thank you. We've been in conversation for some time with the Monadnock School District. They've been asking to see if we can help them with a SRO or truancy officer at their school. Since the Swansea Police Department had to pull out. And we've been trying to fulfill that position, and we've been finding it pretty difficult to do with just the hours that they're asking for. Asking for the school year, which is an average about 28 hours a week, like 70% of a full-time person. So what I'm asking is that we authorize increasing my FTEs by 12 hours so I can actually hire a full-time officer, deputy for our office so that we can find someone who's willing to come join us and serve as a deputy at the Monadnock School District. We've also seen an increase in our transport of prisoners back and forth to the court. Not from the county jail, but from the state prison, from other jails throughout the state. We're in We are tracking at about 700 plus this year, more than last year. Last year we were just under 2,000. We're about ending, gonna be about 2,700 this year based on the averages that I came up with. So that's another increase. So we will hope that when this deputy is not at the school, he can help us with the part of that transport as well. So in order for me to attract somebody who wants to work at the school and also be a deputy under time that the school is not in session, I need to convert that to a full-time position because I cannot find anyone who wants to work part-time.
Thank you. The motion is to increase budget line 4211.03.00 by $11,200 to increase a current 28-hour position to 40 hours effective September 1, 2026, and to offset that with the use of fund balance account 3911.00.0. And before somebody asks, yes, that 11,200 includes benefits. Can I have a second to the motion?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none or seeing none, I would ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Oh,
I'm sorry, wait. Representative Birch, did you raise your hand? Did I miss?
Nope.
No. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Representative Hunt,
Yes.
Representative Weber is absent, Representative Faulkner,
Yes.
Representative Harvey,
Yes.
Representative Ames,
Yes.
Representative Fox votes yes, Representative Partial,
Yes.
Representative Quealy,
No.
Representative Rhodes,
Yes.
Representative Germana,
Yes.
Representative Jones.
Yes.
Representative Newell,
Yes.
Representative Thaxton is absent. Representative Birch,
Yes.
Representative O'Rourke,
Yes.
Representative Nalavanko,
Yes.
Representative Karasinski,
Yes.
Representative Murphy.
Yes.
Representative Jacobs,
Yes.
Representative Gruber,
Yes.
Representative Mattson. Yes. (18-1), motion carries.
Thank you. And the next motion is concerns the community kitchen. I no longer see the director in the room. So I'll let me make the motion and then we'll discuss, and I'll ask Chris to pretend he's the director of the community kitchen. So the motion is to increase the budget line 4454.00.00 by $20,000 and to offset this with the use of the fund balance account 3911.00.00. I would emphasize that this is not costing the county anything. It comes from fund balance. Can I have a second to my motion?
Second.
Thank you, Representative Germana. Chris, would you like to address this or?
It's been brought forward that they're looking for, they've seen an increase in need. They've seen an increase in their census significantly. So they have seen a cost increase. They've also have started doing more to help support outside communities outside of Keene. And they have a trucking and regional food distribution that they felt was needed. They talked about this last year, but they really kicked it into gear. At the end of last year, we also started a trucking initiative to move forward with food resources in the region. We learned that many of the small volunteer-run pantries were receiving food from the New Hampshire Food Bank only once a month because transportation limitations. We hired a full-time driver and purchased a 20-foot refrigerated box truck, which now makes almost daily trips to the food bank in Manchester. Year to date, we've delivered more than 90 tons of food in 12 agencies throughout the region, including Jaffrey, Rindge, Troy, Chesterfield, Marlborough, Keene, Gilsum, Richmond, and Fitzwilliam. It's been that aside from everybody always thinks community kitchens down here, but they have grown to the point where they're reaching out across the region to the point where the New Hampshire Food Bank is looking at and then becoming the distribution center for this region on a regular basis and getting a facility over here so the food bank can support that and make that even easier for people. If you've heard the stories before in the past, when people would come from pantries, they'd come in their Subaru or their Volkswagen and put in as much food as they possibly could. Now they have a truck dropping it off on a daily, if not multiple times a week, and it's really made a huge difference. And their mobile pantry is really ramped up to the point where they're really supporting Gilsum, Richmond, Fitzwilliam, and Winchester, and Gilsum, Richmond, and Fitzwilliam. They're working to really make a community kitchen pantry in each town, really a satellite pantry that really will, help them. My understanding too has been that a lot of these communities are really struggling right now because aging out factor, and there's not people to take up that service. And so they've really felt the need to really do what they can for those communities. Is that enough?
Yes, the only thing I would
can keep
add,
going.
thank you. I always hesitate when I ask you because.
Oh, thanks.
However, the only thing I would add and the director was at the executive council meeting is that this request has come at a time when SNAP was eliminated, and so the need is even greater. And unfortunately, it's also come at a time when gas prices are, over $4. So a gallon, so that has increased their cost, as well as the cost of food skyrocketing. I know we can all tell horror stories about the price of a dozen of eggs, and none of those things could have been foreseen. So they are asking us to help the citizens, the constituents of all of our communities by granting this $20,000, which comes out of fund balance, not taxpayer money. So any other discussion? Representative Giuliano.
And just very quickly, I want to, second kind of what you said, Representative Hardy, that we've seen the impact of SNAP cuts. About 3% of New Hampshire residents who were receiving SNAP benefits are not, including over 1,000 children in the state who are no longer receiving those benefits. If you volunteered at the community kitchen, you see the number of families, the number of young children who come in and use their services. If you haven't volunteered there, you should. And this has obviously become much more of a county service because of the need. So this is, I think, a responsibility that we have to help make up for the irresponsible shortfall that has been forced on us by a federal government and continue to help.
Thank you, Representative Hunt.
So I have no problems with the Keene Community Kitchen. I think they're a wonderful organization. I support them in many ways. The issue is that we made the decision. They originally requested the 60. We made the decision to go with 40 because we wanted to be flat with not just this organization, with all the nonprofits that we funded. I guess I'll go forward with what I proposed to the executive committee, and maybe I'll get a more sympathetic audience here. And that is that I think that given that they keep coming back and asking for more, that that's at least make a motion to reduce the 20 to 10. And then when it comes to next January, when we do with the budget, we can decide whether 60 or maybe 100. Who knows how much you guys all want to give to the Keene Community Kitchen, but that at least that this is half of what they got, they proposed. They requested 60. We gave them 40. This is a half a year. We'll give them an extra 10, and then we can take it up again in next winter. So my motion is to reduce the amount to 10,000.
Thank you, Representative. Is there a second to Representative Hunt's motion?
Second it.
Is there discussion? Yes, Representative.
I just want to make a comment in response to Representative Germana's comment. I sit on the DHHS section of the finance committee at the state level. There are all kinds of issues with the SNAP program, as you may be aware, at the federal level with the waste, fraud and abuse that's going on, and it's documented. And that penalizes everybody, penalizes taxpayers who are funding the waste, fraud and abuse that goes on. I'm not saying it occurs in New Hampshire. They haven't looked at that real closely in New Hampshire. But it also penalizes people who are not receiving the benefits from the funds that are going for those services. The other aspect of this is that clearly part of one of the motions that came before the committee this year was to increase by about $4 million to make up for the funding that was so-called cuts to the federal program.
Okay, I'm actually going to interject here. The motion is to reduce this from 20,000 to 10,000. We're not really here to discuss the SNAP program and
I understand that, but I just want to make the point that, the expenditures, I'm clearly with Representative Hunt. You want to make sure that people that need the services are getting them and that they're being efficient. And I object to the comments that Representative.
And again, I'm going to stop that because our comments should be limited to whether or not the amount should be reduced from 20 to 10, not to
I would say that I
anybody.
support
Representative Germana.
Yeah, I'll vote against the motion. This is documented need for people right here in our county. And leave it at that. This is not a guess. It's not an estimate. This is based on actual documented need serving people.
Yes, Representative Jones.
Procedure question. I believe this is an amendment to your motion.
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Any further discussion?
And
Okay, so we just to be, Representative.
we're on Phil's question. We're voting yes.
Yes.
We're voting in favor of the amendment to reduce the amount.
Yes, the amendment is to.
Is that wrong?
We're voting.
Let me,
Not to-
excuse me,
Okay.
I'll explain. Thank you.
Clarify.
Yeah, let's have one person explain, because if we all do, we probably all will have different things in our head. So the motion was to reduce the amount given to the community kitchen from fund balance from 20,000 to 10,000. A vote yes is in favor of that reduction. A vote no is a vote against that reduction, and we would be back to our original motion. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Representative Hunt,
Yes.
Representative Weber is absent. Representative Faulkner.
No.
Representative Harvey.
No.
Representative Ames.
No.
Clerk votes no. Representative Partial.
No.
Representative Quayle.
Yes.
Representative Rhodes.
Yes.
Representative Germana.
No.
Representative Jones.
No.
Representative Newell.
No.
Representative Faxon is absent. Representative Birch.
No.
Representative O'Rourke.
No.
Representative Malavanko.
Yes.
Representative Karasinski.
Yes.
Representative Murphy.
Yes.
Representative Jacobs.
No.
Representative Gruber.
No.
Representative Mattson.
Yes.
Vote is 7 to 12, motion fails.
Thank you. We're back to the original motion to, well, let me make sure I read correctly. To increase budget line 4454.00.00 by 20,000 and to offset with the use of fund balance account 3911.00.00. I think we've discussed this. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Representative Hunt,
Yes.
Representative Weber is absent. Representative Faulkner,
Yes.
Representative Harvey,
Yes.
Representative Ames,
Yes.
Representative Fox votes yes. Representative Marshall,
Yes.
Representative Quayle,
No.
Representative Rhodes,
No.
Representative Germana,
Yes.
Representative Jones, Representative Newell,
Yes.
Representative is absent. Representative Birch,
Forgot.
You want to vote yes?
Yes, yes,
Twenty
yes,
thousand.
yes.
Representative O'Rourke,
Yes.
Representative Malavanco,
Yes.
Representative Karasinski,
No.
Representative Murphy,
Yes.
Representative Jacobs,
Yes.
Representative Gruber,
Yes.
Representative Mattson.
Yes.
I'm sorry, what was that?
No. Been a long day. It's so bad.
Vote was 15-4, motion passes.
Thank you. Is there any other business that should come before the delegation? Chris,
Yes, thank you. So, come on up. We're gonna repeat, but I asked them to, actually, for those that already heard it, I'm gonna.
The full budget.
oh,
One more motion.
Well, you asked me to go, and I'm ready.
We were so close, so close.
I'm sorry.
That's ready.
Hey. The motion is to, excuse me. I want everybody to hear this so that there's no doubt about this number. Motion to amend the 2026 budget to the amount of $78,564,332. May I have a second to that motion, please? Thank you, Representative Faulkner. Any discussion? And clerk, would you please call the roll on our final budget?
Representative Hunt,
Yes.
Representative Weber is absent. Representative Faulkner.
Yes.
Representative Harvey,
Yes.
Representative Ames.
Yes.
Representative Fox votes yes. Representative Marshall,
Yes.
Representative Quayle,
No.
Representative Rhodes, Representative Germana,
Yes.
Representative Jones.
Yes.
Representative Newell,
Yes.
Representative Saxton is absent. Representative Birch,
Yes,
Representative O'Rourke,
Yes.
Representative Malavanco,
Yes.
Representative Karasinski.
Yes.
Representative Murphy,
Yes.
Representative Jacobs,
Yes.
Representative Gruber,
Yes.
Representative Mass. 18-1, motion passes.
Thank you. And now I will yield the floor to Chris Coats.
Great, and anything we're gonna say here is more informational. There is no vote needed, so I'll try to get through it as quick as possible. We wanna make sure we do our due diligence in telling you everything that's coming up so that you're aware of it. And if you have questions prior, as we go into the budget season, you're able to ask the questions. And then we get into budget season, you're gonna be able to ask all the questions there too. Soup, come on up. So 2016, we, the Department of Corrections, looked at where they were in group 2. There was some issues they felt at the time with the Superintendent Van Wickler at the time. Felt that it was time for us to get out of group 2 and join group 1. In talking to Superintendent Nick Phillips, he has said that it's time for us to maybe reconsider that and take a look at it. What I said to him is at the time, then there's a lot of homework that needs to be done. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. And we've been working also with the commissioners so that they've been made aware of the process that we're going through and the work that any work that we're getting done and answering some questions. So there's gonna be a lot of questions, I understand that, but tonight it's really just to inform you where we're at so that you're made aware of it. Anything I'm showing tonight, we'll be sending to you electronically, or we can get it, it will be posted online there too.
So, just a little bit of a refresher. So my intention is to transition the Cheshire County officers from Group 1 back into Group 2. In 2015, before that, we were Group 2, which is standard for law enforcement, police officers, fire, EMS, and Cheshire is actually the only county correctional facility in the state that is not Group 2, that is Group 1. The differences between Group 1 and Group 2 is generally it's more municipal employees, teachers for Group 1. The retirement is a little bit different. Employee contribution 7% of the pay. Full service retirement is 60 to 65, depending on your hire date. Pension is 1.7% final compensation. Group 2, again, permanent police, fire positions, more with hazard duty roles. Corrections falls into that. A lot of what a corrections officer experiences in their tenure at a department is a lot different than what most would face in the real world. What comes with Group 2 is employee contributions 11.5%, retire at the age of 52.5 with 25 years of service in Group 2, or at the age of 60. So the differences is a matter of years and when you can retire. And as far as retirement goes, that is a benefit to working in corrections or law enforcement in general. A lot of people, when they go into that field, they go into it with the intention of, this is going to be a difficult job. I'm going to miss a lot of family hours, a lot of holidays. I'm going to be working a lot of overtime, but it's going to be worth it in the long run because at the end of it, I'll be able to retire earlier, maybe on something else. I've seen a lot of people that work Group 2 retire at the age, it's gone through some changes over the years, but retire and move on to separate careers where they can kind of start anew. To be certified in Group, or to be a member of Group 2 for county corrections, you have to be certified through the New Hampshire Association of Counties Corrections Academy. In 2015, we pulled away from the Correctional Academy. We used to do in-house training as well as sending some officers to the academy. In 2014, 2015, there was, I think, some tension between all the superintendents of the state. Can't really speak to all of it. And some differences of opinions. And it was made that to be certified, it has to be send your officers to this 5-week academy. The decision was made that that was not feasible for Cheshire by that superintendent. I'm not saying that was right or wrong. It was 11 years ago. I can't speak to it. And at the time, our training was identical to what they're doing in the academy. Our training is still adequate, and I'm comfortable saying that my officers are well trained. But in 11 years, a lot changes in corrections and in the world in general. And I think it's important that we as a jail don't isolate ourselves from the rest of the county. Sending our newer officers to a 5-week academy gives us with more of a leg to stand when it comes to continuity of training throughout the state. So I like the idea of sending an officer to a 5-week training academy where they can go over more rigorous trainings and they can have more resources and open a lot of channels to other departments. It's helpful when I go to superintendent affiliate meetings every month, and it's nice having those resources. Retirement, the case for Group 2. So, I mean, I've already talked a little bit about this, so I won't get too much more into it. I know there's a lot of other stuff to discuss and everything like that today. I kind of want to get into, skip through the slides a little bit. I kind of want to talk a little bit more about the need for it, but then also what steps have already been taken. So as I said, to be certified or to be a Group 2 member, you have to be certified through the New Hampshire Association of Academies, which requires all officers to go through this 5-week academy. And by their current bylaws, it would, if we were to transition, I would have to send 43 officers, myself included, through this 5-week academy. While working with the superintendents who make the decision as to they decide on the bylaws, they are very supportive of my initiative to try to get Cheshire County back into Group 2 and back in with the rest of the counties in their correctional academy. So they agreed to waive all officers that have been employed for 3 years, which reduces the amount of officers I'll have to send through the academy significantly. As it stands right now, we have 43 officers. I believe it's only 12 or 13 that I would have to send. Obviously, if this happens, I think our ideal date would be July 1st, 2027. That number can change between now and then, but it wouldn't be a significant amount that I would have to send. If they weren't gonna make a waiver, that 3-year waiver, I wouldn't be pushing this forward because it just wouldn't be reasonable for me to try to send that many officers through. So because I've had their support and they've been doing so much to aid me in this transition, I've been able to push it further along. I've been able to bring it to the commissioners, been bringing it to them each and every step, every time a little bit of progress has been made, just to keep them well informed of it. Chris has been well informed of everything. So this is the steps that I've taken so far. And in the next budget cycle, you'll see what the difference is for cost for us to try to get that transition made.
And there'll be ample time to go through all the questions that are gonna be asked in the process. But we wanted to give you a heads up so you didn't say, has a train left the station? I've heard that many times in my political career. The train's already left this station. Yeah, next would be fuel costs. I've been asked by multiple people if we've seen an increase in fuel. So we put together something, thank you Cheryl and her team, to be able to pull some of those numbers together. So fuel costs are up sharply since February. Average price per gallon paid across county departments. We've seen an increase of over on what we would normally pay based on a $2.68 had it stayed there instead of what we've been paying. And you'll see in a second the average over time, $17,860 more than what we had projected. Next, you can see that in February that we were at a low of $2.68, and you see it gradually went up. What changed in February? The low price through May climbed to $4.31 peak. June eased to $4.05, still above. Added costs, again, $17,860 since February. What departments are affected? How are we gathering this information? This is through the Sheriff's Department, Cheshire County EMS, Maplewood Nursing Home, and Department of Corrections. These are where we're getting our numbers from. And I will tell you right now, we've seen an increase in our calls. I said earlier, when it comes to EMS, you heard from the sheriff that he's seen some increase in deliveries. That's all vehicle driven and transports. We've seen an increase in 1 month in June. We averaged 26,000 miles in our ambulances for the month, just 1 month. So that's where we're getting those numbers from. So we'll continue to monitor that. We're also seeing food increases because trucks, everything's made with oil. So we're just seeing the increases. We're trying to do what we can. It has, you heard today, we got 1.3 million prior to what the monies we put in there, but that's eating away at our overall fund balance too. So these are things that we're thinking about. So those are gas prices. We will be talking more about that in the budget process too. So you have time to ask those questions. And if after you want to ask me more in depth about some of these, I will see what we can do to look into those things. Pursuing rural health transformation funding. As you know, the state received $204 million from the rural health transformation funding. It came out of this big, beautiful bill, or as I call it, the triple B. And in that, we said we're going to be as aggressive as we possibly can. So when it came out, and you can read it up here, well, first and foremost, I want to say one thing. It's $204 million this year. So Go North is doing everything in their power to make sure we spend that money down. Because if we do, we get $204 million next year. And the year after we do it for 5 years, we have the opportunity to bring $204 million into the state of New Hampshire through the federal government. If we spend $180 million and don't get to the 204, that's what we get the next year. If we spend 120 the next year, and that's all we get. So us here. We start thinking, how do we go after the money? Next, please. So we asked Cheshire County EMS to take a look at what would be in the budget? What are things that we are going to put in to take a look at it? They came back to us and said, replace end of life cardiac monitors, defibrillators, transport ventilators, rugged tablets, point of care diagnostics, and frontline ambulance, because we have already some that are aging out. We have upgrade the dispatch consoles, portable radios, incident command technology, backup generator. These are all things that we're looking at. And it's helping also with our training technology for our pipeline for our staff. Next, Maplewood Nursing Home. We've asked for $1.96 million. 1.43 for the water treatment plant replacement if we go down this route. Remember, you allowed us to go do a study. We said, we're gonna go after the money now, so if we get it, it's there. Restoring existing space, assisted living. If you remember last year, activities and all those had all kinds of some renovation. We put in for all of those things to go after. HVAC replacement for the activities, OT/PT space is safe and unable. It's unable to year-round accessible bus replacement. We're looking at all those things as a reality. We'll know soon enough. But those are the things that we're doing. We didn't stop there though. As you know, we're in the process. We'll be in the process in the next week to get because we've been actually in talks with actually Go North itself to the director of Go North. And we're working with her to really take a major project. And that would be the partnership we have with Southwest Fire Mutual Aid, the Capital Region Mutual Aid, and the Lakes Region Mutual Aid. We would be the person that would get the grant money. It would be a 5-year spend. It would hit 8 counties, over 150 communities, and 43% of the landmass in the state of New Hampshire. And what it would do is upgrade the tower equipment in each community so that when they have a crisis, because they're all at the end of life, they're all dealing with the same thing we're dealing with. And so we're working on that. That will have to be in the coming few weeks. And the last one that we're looking at, the growing needs of EMS. And when we moved in, and Mike Petrovic is here tonight. He's one of the architects that did the design right here. And Chief is here, over here in the corner. And so if I miss something, they can jump in. But the bottom line is that when we moved in very quickly because everything was falling apart. If you remember, sadly, the company that had been in place for over 60 years, they had hoped that we would take them on, but the liens that they had against them, especially from the IRS, of now over $2 million, when we did open up, was too great for us to be able to do anything. So we decided to go on our own. We opened up with the idea that we're going to run 2 to 3 ambulances. We're at 5 plus a paramedic intercept currently, right? And we built it for 6 bays, and we've got those all filled. And we've got ambulances. If you've driven by, we have ambulances outside. And we have, our numbers are going up. And we built what we did, what we needed to. We only had so much money to spend on this to get this up and running quickly. And so we had to spend it on the vehicles. We also had to build the new facility in the Bay Area. Everything else we built was in buildings that were beyond, they were what we needed at the time because that's the money we had. And Mike can speak to that in a second. But the bottom line is we've looked at all this, we're growing. We know in the next year, there is, how do I say this? There is a very good chance that we will be primary in other towns in the near future. And that's not because we are going out and soliciting. We are not. We never have and we never will. It's because communities are in such great need to the point where we're probably going to need to go to a 6th ambulance. We have coming in the near future, another ambulance and a paramedic intercept, new paramedic intercept coming in. And we have 3 vehicles already outside. So we have to build more bays. We have to think about, and we can do that all on this property. We have the ability to do so, but we have to think for the future. And so we put, Rural Health Transformation Funding has a grant, for a $50,000 planning grant. And we want to take our time and think about this and how we need to do it. But the Rural Transformation Funding also has the ability for us to get funding. If we have a building built, they can renovate the inside of it. There's monies there to renovate the inside of that building. So we're looking at those opportunities. But we also, I took it a step farther and I said, if we build a shell, is that a new footprint? And do you then pay for the inside of the work? And they said, yes. I said, well, we hadn't thought of that. Yes. So if we did all those, we could have a portion of that, we'd have to bond, and that bond would fall under the EMS program, but we could cut it in half. Now, with that being said, we've also pushed it forward that the reason they can't build new is because the Center for Medicaid Service said they couldn't build new. They are asking currently for a waiver, is what I've been told, so that they can have opportunities for agencies to do this. And so we're thinking, if we get a planning grant and we are able to get the architect to do the designs the way we need to, and he's already working, we're already utilizing some funding to do that, but this would really help us along to really give you guys a good picture of what we're thinking and how we want to move forward. And in the meantime, if they get the waiver, it's sort of like when we said, we don't want to bond yet for the sheriff's towers and the work. That was a 4.4 million, and they came back to us and we were able to find all the grant money. We're hoping in reality, we can do the same thing here. I can't promise you anything, I never would, but if we could at least get half of that, so the burden isn't that hard on the EMS budget overall, we might be doing what we need to do in the future. Man, we have a list of people that want to work for us. We do. We are fully staffed, or pretty darn close to being fully staffed down there. We have, we are in primary towns, but we are in communities that have services that don't have the people to work those services more than we ever thought we would be. We thought we were going to be 22 to 2,400 calls. We're now heading towards 6,300 calls. And again, we haven't ever gone into a town. We never will. Towns recently have come to us to ask to see if we can give services. We are mulling all those, how we can do some of those towns. And we applaud those communities that actually have strong ambulance services, because we need that. We do not want to be the answer for everybody. We want to work with everybody. We are in the city of Keene. We have a great relationship with the city of Keene, but I applaud Walpole, Elstead. They have strong services, and there's others that are strong out there too, probably. I just can't think of them off the top of my head, but those two really stand out to me. They get their act together. So that's where we stand. We meet the demand every single day. I applaud what the chief has done down there to make this a reality. The feedback we're getting, if I had time, I'd have him read a letter and you'd be in tears about somebody that wrote us recently about their service. But the reality is we were asked to step into something. We're doing the best we can. And I think we're doing well, but so we're going to study how to expand this. Any questions? Anything that Mike I missed?
Oh, great job.
Thanks for sitting here tonight for that.
That's okay.
Steve, anything I missed? Okay.
Thank you, Chris. One thing I've learned with county government is we're never blindsided. You're always good at keeping us up to date as to what might be coming down the pike, and we all appreciate that. Before we adjourn for this evening, just a couple of things. I'd like to publicly thank Representative Fox for filling in for Representative Weber tonight. She didn't know she was going to do that. She walked in the door and somebody said, "Kathy, who are you going to appoint as clerk?" And I went, "Her." So we appreciate you filling in. Lucy had to be in Walpole for a bond vote this evening. And personally, I would like to thank you all for the privilege of serving as your chair this biennium. And hopefully I'll be back and can do the same thing in the next biennium. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So eager. And a second, thank you. We're adjourned.
Good.